You ready?
Whenever you are.
All right, we're ready to go. If we could get started, we have Pastor Tom here to do our invocation and a pledge of allegiance, please. And for today, we should all remember 9/11.
It is 9/11. I've noticed that. I invite you to bow your heads for a moment. Remember your mercy, O Lord, and your steadfast love, for they have been from of old. Heavenly Father, we remember the smoke rising from Twin Towers and the silence of a global airspace shutdown. As the World Trade Center burned and crumbled, the muted cries of 3,000 souls swept across the world to the Pentagon and then past Pennsylvania. Heroes, true witnesses and responders on 9/11 have laid down in the dust and ashes one by one for 22 years. Open our ears again to hear the call to the defense of liberty promoted by a declaration and a constitution that is the envy of the world. For the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on your divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. Such was the resolve of Mr. Jefferson and the framers in 1776, and such is our resolve today. The signers bravely laughed in the face of danger. Equally bold as the service of our patriots in uniform, the soldier, the sailor, the marine, the airman and air and space forces, and all those who defend our coast and homeland, our law enforcement and our fire and rescue. The global war on terror and Operation Enduring Freedom have left us with a homeland defense. Return us, Lord, to you, that we may join your Coast Guard. So I am humbled by the honor and the valor and the legacy of our uniformed services. Not for the conquest of nations and peoples do we serve, but for the free course of faith, for the ability to speak freely, for the light of a free press, for the strength of a peaceful assembly, and for the right to petition our government when we are grieved. So tonight we dedicate our service for the strengthening of these liberties and the bold defense that endures by your good pleasure. Tonight we pray for those who stand the watch, mount the patrol, travel the road, and sustain airspace and cyberspace power. Guard and guide our defenders and first responders. Bless and direct our mayor, Jose Cabero, and our city council, and our public works, and our law enforcement and our first responders. Receive praise for the support of our spouses and families. Bless our city of Shepherdsville and guide us in the way of everlasting life. For to you belongs all glory, honor, and praise.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Pastor Thomas, thank you very much. Beautifully done. And please, let's all reflect on 9/11. I think it's a day we can never forget. So we're glad to have you all here. And we're starting our meeting at 6:31. All right. All right. All right. We get a roll call, please.
Ms. Portman?
Here.
Skip that. Mike?
Here.
Brad?
Here.
Paula?
Here.
Jennifer? Here. Bonnie?
Here.
All right, got everybody here. Let's steal some of these. All right. We need approval for the minutes from August 14th. We got a motion from Paula.
Second.
Second by Faith. Roll call, please.
Brad?
I'll abstain. I was not present last meeting.
Bonnie?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Faith?
Yes.
And Paula?
Thank you, Council. We're going to start with the presentation. So I have Miss Courtney here. We're in our dress-down casual days. She'll come up here to the. No, I'm sorry. Am I picking on you?
I was volunteering at Active Heroes today.
Well, thank you for doing that. We appreciate your volunteer service. Yes,
And
ma'am.
reflect on 9/11. So
How you
just
doing?
a little blurb. If you do not know what Active Heroes is, it is an amazing nonprofit organization right here in Bullitt County. Everything that we do at Active Heroes is to benefit military, veteran, active duty family. It's all in the name of not just suicide prevention, but in the name of strengthening the mental health of our military folks as they're transitioning into civilian life. So if you haven't heard of it, or if you haven't been by, please consider looking it up, activeheroes.org. Now, on to what we are here for. I just thought that would be a perfect time to
Ma'am?
put that in there. My most important and favorite up-to-date report is that we've been talking to U of L for a couple of months now regarding the playground, and U of L committed a $100,000 sponsorship for our playground. They want to help be a partner and make it creative, and although that is not going to offset the cost, it is certainly going to give us the liberty to be creative and really do something special. We want this to be accessible to every child. We want not ramps for kids that have mobility issues to be able to just be pushed up and down the playground. We want them to be interacting with. We want them to be in the middle of the fun. We want them to have so many other options than just getting pushed up and down. And that was such an important thing for the mayor, for us. And we listened to our community. We listened to the kids from Colton's. And it's like, we have so much to offer this community. We want to make sure we're not leaving anyone out. And Dory and the staff at U of L have been awesome. And they are willing to continue to work with future partnerships, but this is a huge win for all of us. So I think that is, it's a testament to having these conversations, cultivating the relationships, and then you're waiting on a board, you're waiting on their teams to get behind these things. But there are people, we have, 4 other conversations like this going on with the health department, with Jim Beam, with Beam Vets. We have things going on that it's slowly and surely coming to fruition. So if anybody has any questions about any sponsorships, I had someone call me today asking about a bench. So it's still, the energy's there, the interest is there. We just have to continue working at the family level. And if you're looking to donate $500 or $50,000 or $100,000, there is something for every family to be represented in what we were doing with the 3 different, with not just the park, but with the downtown cityscaping benches and all that, and then also the aquatic center.
I was going to 2 things. First of all, with Dory actually, they're making a commitment for $100,000 at this point, but she made it very clear there's going to be other things that they want to invest in as well.
Yeah.
So that was kind of nice. We would love to have more for this actual project, but obviously we're very grateful for that, and then their partnership is going to continue with some other. I also want to mention that throughout the park, we're going to be putting benches through all the different 5K area and walking areas, that if people want to sponsor those, we'd like that to be obviously an opportunity, because then you go through and obviously a member and family members. So there's plenty of opportunities that we have. We're just getting started with a lot of it. Most of what's going to happen over the next 30, 60, 90 days is going to be breaking things,
Right.
like demolition. So we're kind of getting ready for that. So we've got a lot of good stuff coming up. I think October the 4th, I'm trying to confirm that, is the day that we're going to put a caution tape in front of the Stout property, and we're going to cut it, Miss Anita. We're going to get with you guys. Get your scissors ready. We're going to cut that caution tape. We're going to have everybody we can have there, because they're going to start with that back area, and the county's going to work with us. They're going to take all those materials and use it to build their own structure. And then from that, we're actually scheduling, we're going through a bidding process to actually have, I think Scott's got it scheduled for all of them to go look through the building, what it's going to take down the old warehouse that sits there to the left of that property. So a lot of good stuff.
Yes.
I appreciate it.
And one thing that I want to talk about, the Downtown Business Association. I know there's a question last time. We have been postponing the next meeting just because there have been so many moving pieces, and we want to be really careful about sharing things that we hope happen, and then if it doesn't happen, it's just not a good look for the city. It's not a good look for the leadership at all. So we're trying our best to make sure it's a fine line between keeping everyone as involved as possible, how it's going to affect the small businesses, especially downtown Bugman area, but also being very careful about, this is what we want to see, but we're not 100% on it. So now that we are shaping and getting a little more of a plan for what can and is realistic for the next 12 months, we are gonna get together again. And I sent invites out last week. September 26th, we are gonna meet again in this room, 6 p.m. There'll be representation from the city leadership. And then we had a good group of small businesses that are downtown. Anybody that's affected by what's going on, any of the construction happening, not just in the downtown Buckman area, but also in the park. It'll be a chance for everybody to just hear some updates. It's not gonna be a glorious, here are 5 things you can look for. It's really what we talked about last time, and I think it's probably a good thing for me to continue to reiterate. What you can probably look for in the next 12 to 18 months, if you're driving up and down Buckman or going through the park, it's a lot of dirt being moved. We have to make sure that the floodplain is, we're working on drainage. We're working on making sure the elevation's correct. We're making sure that when we put structures in, that they are gonna be sound and that the flooding is not going to impact them. And so that is extremely important, and that's what we talked about a lot at the first Downtown Business Association meeting, is that we have a lot of plans, and it's really great for us to keep everybody updated on our plans, but it's really hard to start actually working. The bidding process alone, it's just a lot. So I think knowledge is power, and knowing what to look for, here's the things you can look for, this is what progress looks like. But unfortunately, none of it's gonna be beautiful, it's really moving dirt and relocating things that, for functionality's sake, we have to relocate power lines and things that nobody's gonna be like, wow, huge win. No, not really, it's just dirt. Any questions?
Yeah, I was gonna tell you also too, we'll have renderings, as we go along, we're gonna put
Yes.
renderings out of each of the, like the aquatic
Yes.
center, there'll be renderings of what it's gonna look like. But it'll give you a chance to see it after we've actually started in the demolition process. So just keep it going. I mean, we've got
Yes.
some other meetings coming up, and we've got some really big partners that we're trying to knock on doors with right now. And
Yes.
so we're chasing them down to get them a chance to sit with us and talk about our future, so.
So exciting.
Yep.
So, there's so many people willing to partner up and just kind of explore what they're capable of. Do you guys have any questions for me? Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you, Ms. Courtney. All right, thank you. What's that? Oh, so right now, I've got a tentatively 9 o'clock, October the 4th is the date. Just keep your fingers crossed. I think it's all gonna work out, because our 90 days up that we gave the Stouts to move everything off their property, they did an auction. They're gonna finish all that up, so October the 3rd is their last day there, so October the 4th, before Robert Watkins and his crew start on that back building, we're gonna put a caution tape out, some scissors, and do some cutting. Get started on stuff. So it's gonna be good stuff. All right, well, thank you for that. Oh, old business. We actually have our second reading on our 2 rezoning. So, Ms. Catherine, if you will.
First, I would just like to say, Courtney, great job on U of L. When I worked at a firm downtown, I know a lot of people were coming to our firm, always asking for donations. So, I think that's awesome so thank you. All right. Ordinance 023-047, an ordinance amending the Bullock County City Zoning Ordinance and the Bullock County City Zoning Map as amended, changing the zoning of 22 acres more or less located at Cedar Grove Road in the city of Shepherdsville, Bullock County, Kentucky, also known as parcel 046-000-00022A, from AG Agricultural to IL Light Industrial. Summary. Number 1, rezones approximately 22 acres located at Cedar Grove Road in the city of Shepherdsville, Bullock County, Kentucky, also known as parcel 046-000-00022A, from AG Agricultural to IL Light Industrial with restrictions. 2, provides for repeal of inconsistent laws, severability provisions, and an effective date upon passage and publication.
All right. Ms. Catherine, thank you. First of all, I know we've actually discussed this. We had our first meeting, in our last meeting, our first reading on this last meeting. Tried to answer everybody's questions. Everyone's about the property. Try to reach out to each of you, just give you, pros and cons of looking at it. So at this point, I need a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion.
Mike, need a second? I got a second by Brad. Miss Brenda, could you give me a roll call on that, please?
Right. Faith,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Paula,
No.
Brad,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Bonnie.
No.
All right, all right. All right, got a 4-2 approval for that. All right. Ms. Catherine, you have our second reading of 023-048, please.
Ordinance 023-048, an ordinance amending the Bullock County City Zoning Order and the Bullock County City Zoning Map as amended, changing the zoning of 22 acres more or less located at Cedar Grove Road in the city of Shepherdsville, Bullock County, Kentucky, also known as parcel 046-000-00022, from AG Agricultural to IL Light Industrial. Summary. Number 1, rezones approximately 22 acres located at Cedar Grove Road in the city of Shepherdsville, Bullock County, Kentucky, also known as parcel 046-000-00022, from AG Agricultural to IL Light Industrial with restrictions. 2, provides for repeal of inconsistent laws, severability of provisions, and an effective date upon passage and publication.
So this one here is the actual other plot that's in this. So if somebody develops that, they'll be working with you guys on, because they're not coming out on Cedar Grove as well. So I know that that's been in conversation, don't know what's gonna happen to that future plot, but the planning and zoning thought, well, these are right next to each other to do them this way. So just so you all know, I know we've talked about this as well. I need a motion, please.
I'll make a motion.
Mike,
I'll second.
and a second for Brad. All right, Ms. Brenda?
Faith,
Yes.
Jennifer,
Yes.
Paula,
No.
Mike,
Yes.
Bonnie,
No.
and Brad.
Yes.
Again, thank you all again. I got these taken care of. All right, you're very welcome. We appreciate you guys. All right. Sorry, new business. And I don't know if we have any other questions, we'll reach out to you. I know where you work, so I got it covered, but listen, welcome to our community. We expect some big things. Yeah, and we appreciate everything, but we'll be following with you as you develop things. Thank you all very much. All right, have a good evening. New business. We have our Catherine, City Attorney, is going to be reading our proclamation recognizing September 22nd, 2023 as a Childhood Cancer Awareness. I know we have Michelle Walsh. Hello there. And you get, absolutely. I tell you what, we're going to read it, and then if you will, if you'll give me just a minute here, let her.
I'm gonna go
What?
get a better one.
Oh, she's going to give me a better one, but I'm going to have Catherine go ahead and read the proclamation, and then we'll come up here and do this with you guys. All right.
City of Shepherdsville Proclamation 2302, recognizing September 22nd, 2023 as Childhood Cancer Awareness Day. Whereas childhood cancer is the leading cause of death by disease in children, and whereas 1 in 285 children in the United States will be diagnosed by their 20th birthday, and whereas Kentucky's children have a 4.5% higher chance of getting cancer this year than any other state in the U.S., and whereas there are approximately 40,000 children on active treatment at any given time, and the average age of diagnosis is 6 years old, and whereas hundreds of nonprofit organizations at the local and national levels are helping children with cancer and their families cope through educational, emotional, and financial support, and whereas researchers and healthcare professionals work diligently dedicating their expertise to treating and curing children with cancer, and too many children are affected by this deadly disease, and more must be done to raise awareness and find a cure, and whereas since 2018, 15 children in Bullitt County have been diagnosed with cancer. Now therefore, the Mayor, Jose Cabero, Mayor of Shepherdsville, does hereby proclaim September 22nd, 2023 as Childhood Cancer Awareness Day. He encourages all citizens to observe Childhood Cancer Awareness Day by wearing gold or yellow and by supporting this cause that so deeply impacts families in our community.
If you all would like to come up here, Michelle. All right. I want to say this for the audience and everybody that obviously it breaks our heart when we think about our children. So obviously we love the shirts. It's gonna be great. How you doing, young man? You guys doing good? Good. All right. Come up here. All right. I would like to. I'm gonna put this right here in front of you. You're gonna be the star, right? You gotta hold it. You do all that. All right. Now, listen, we're gonna keep making this awareness. We have more to work on here, but this is a start tonight. It's the first step. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for being here as well. All right, good job. So Tom, don't judge me with the U of L stuff on today. I'm sure there's gonna be some people going, what's that guy got that red stuff on for? All right, so obviously it's tax time again. Oh, all the excitement. So obviously, again, the city's responsible for coming up with their ad valorem taxes on your property taxes. And what they call personal is a commercial side of this. And then it is obviously your vehicle tax. The vehicle tax is actually separate through the state. It's actually due a little bit later. But we actually, as the council and the mayor, we have, and with our city attorney and Ms. Tanya back there, our chief financial officer, we obviously have to get these things done. We're required. I was notified last week. So we are scrambling a little bit. We're going to get done the first reading today, and then Wednesday we have a 5 o'clock meeting to have just our second reading for the tax rates. I know that she got the information to you. We'll try to answer other questions. I got Tanya here, but we need to get the first reading today, and then Wednesday we'll have our second reading, and then we'll make sure that the county sheriff's office gets it on the 15th so they can collect the taxes. I guess that's always gonna come out. All right, so with that said, if Miss Catherine, if from the first of the taxes, it's 023-049.
All right, there are no summaries for these because by law, anything that requires taxes and fines and all that has to be spelled out. And so I figured me preparing a summary versus just publishing the whole thing wouldn't save the city any money. So no sense in paying me to write something, just save a few dollars on the back end. Ordinance 023-049, an ordinance establishing the ad valorem tax rate for real property for the city of Shepherdsville, Kentucky for the 2023 calendar year. Whereas KRS 83A.130 to KRS 83A.150 and KRS 92.280 and KRS 92.330 require that the legislative body of each city levy an ad valorem tax for city purposes, and that this be done by ordinance to provide for sufficient revenue to operate city government. And whereas KRS Chapter 132 requires that this be calculated in accordance with the provisions of that chapter, now therefore be it ordained by the city of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky, Section 1, an ad valorem tax rate of 12.2 cents on each $100 of assessed valuation upon all real property taxable for municipal purposes in the city of Shepherdsville, Kentucky shall be and is hereby levied for the 2023 calendar year as of January 1, 2023. Section 2, said levy is made for the purpose of raising revenue to pay salaries and officers and employees, for repair and maintenance of streets, public ways, and public buildings in the city of Shepherdsville, Kentucky, to pay for lighting of streets, and to pay all proper charges and legal demands against the city of Shepherdsville, Kentucky. Section 3, the assessment made by the Bullitt County Property Valuation Administrator for state and county purposes for 2023 shall be and is hereby adopted as the assessment for city purposes. City tax bills shall be made from the Bullitt County list in the Bullitt County Property Valuation Administrator's books after they have been supervised and corrected by the County Board of Equalization. Section 4, the city clerk shall take the list of all persons subject to city taxation who are not shown in the Bullitt County Property Valuation Administrator's books and shall add to the city tax rolls all real property, a portion of which is in the city of Shepherdsville, Kentucky, where the value of the portion in the city of Shepherdsville, Kentucky is not shown on the Bullitt County Property Valuation Administrator's books. Section 5, the Bullitt County Sheriff shall be and is hereby directed to prepare tax bills for all purposes, all persons and organizations in the city of Shepherdsville, Kentucky, against whom said taxes have been levied. The Bullitt County Sheriff is hereby directed to notify such persons and organizations by mail that on or after January 21st, 2024 through January 31st, 2024, any tax bill remaining unpaid will be declared delinquent and shall bear interest at 5% for that period. On or after February 1st, 2024 through April 15th, 2024, the interest shall be 10% plus a 10% add-on fee. The Bullitt County Sheriff shall also indicate that a discount of 2% will be allowed on bills paid on or before November 1st, 2023. Section 6, all payments of taxes provided for herein shall be made to the Bullitt County Sheriff at P.O. Box 205, Shepherdsville, Kentucky 40165. Section 7, the city clerk is hereby directed to advertise this ordinance as provided by law. Section 8, the provisions of this ordinance are hereby declared severable, and if any section, clause, line, paragraph, or part of this ordinance shall for any reason be declared invalid or unconstitutional, the same shall not affect the validity of the remainder of this ordinance. Section 9, all prior ordinances or parts of any ordinance in conflict herewith are hereby repealed. Section 10, this ordinance is adopted in accordance with KRS 83A.060 in that it was introduced and given first reading on September 11th, 2023, and given second reading on September 13th, 2023, and shall be in full force and effect upon publication pursuant to KRS Chapter 424.
Right, so this is your property tax. There was no change in that rate. Just want to make sure everybody knows at least what we're doing with each of the different categories here. Thank you. You did a fine job. You ready to go again? All right, so now it's going to be 023-050.
An ordinance establishing the ad valorem tax rate for tangible personal property and property on public service companies for the city of Shepherdsville, Kentucky for the 2023 calendar year. Whereas KRS 83A.130 to KRS 83A.150 and KRS 92.280 and KRS 92.330, require that the legislative body of each city levy an ad valorem tax for the city purposes, and that this be done by ordinance to provide for sufficient revenue to operate city government. And whereas KRS Chapter 132 requires that this be calculated in accordance with the provisions of that chapter, now therefore be it ordained by the city of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky, Section 1, an ad valorem tax rate of 12.5 cents on each $100 of assessed valuation upon all tangible personal property and property of public services companies taxable for municipal purposes, except property assessed by the state in the city of Shepherdsville, Kentucky, shall be and is hereby levied for the 2023 calendar year as of January 1st, 2023. Section 2, said levy is made for the purpose of raising revenue to pay salaries and officers and employees for repair and maintenance of streets, public ways, and public buildings in the city of Shepherdsville, Kentucky, to pay for lighting of city streets, and to pay all proper charges and legal demands against the city of Shepherdsville, Kentucky. Section 3, the assessment made by the Bullitt County Property Valuation Administrator for state and county purposes for 2023 shall be and is hereby adopted as the assessment for city purposes. City tax bills shall be made from the Bullitt County list in the Bullitt County Property Valuation Administrator's books after they've been supervised and corrected by the County Board of Equalization. Section 4, the city clerk shall take the list of all persons subject to city taxation who are not shown on the Bullitt County Property Valuation Administrator's books, and shall add to the city tax rolls all property, a portion of which is in the city of Shepherdsville, Kentucky, where the value of the portion in the city of Shepherdsville, Kentucky is not shown on the Bullitt County Property Valuation Administrator's books. Section 5, with respect to personal property and property of public service companies, the Bullitt County Sheriff shall be and is hereby directed to prepare tax bills for all purposes and organizations in the city of Shepherdsville, Kentucky, against whom taxes have been levied. The Bullitt County Sheriff is hereby directed to notify such persons and organizations by mail that on and after January 1st, 2024 through January 31st, 2024, any tax bill remaining unpaid will be declared delinquent and shall bear interest at 5% for that period. On or after February 1st, 2024 through April 15th, 2024, the interest shall be 10% plus a 10% add-on fee. The Bullitt County Sheriff shall also indicate that a discount of 2% will be allowed on bills paid on or before November 1st, 2023. Section 6, all payments of taxes provided for herein shall be made to the Bullitt County Sheriff at P.O. Box 205, Shepherdsville, Kentucky 40165. Section 7, the city clerk is hereby directed to advertise this ordinance as provided by law. Section 8, the provisions of this ordinance are hereby declared severable, and if any section, clause, line, paragraph, or part of this ordinance shall for any reason be declared invalid or unconstitutional, the same shall not affect the validity of the remainder of this ordinance. Section 9, all prior ordinances or parts of any prior ordinance in conflict herewith are hereby repealed. Section 10, this ordinance is adopted in accordance with KRS 83A.060 in that it was introduced and given first reading on September 11th, 2023, and given second reading on September 13th, 2023, and shall be in full force and effect upon publication pursuant to KRS Chapter 424.
So this is, again, we're talking about commercial property, tangibles, and again, making sure, Tanya, this was the one that, we didn't change this one either, right? The 12.5 on this one? Okay. I mean, I just want to make sure we're the same on that. And then we have one more to read here, 023051.
Right. Ordinance 023-051, an ordinance establishing the ad valorem tax rate for motor vehicles and watercraft of the city of Shepherdsville, Kentucky for the 2024 calendar year. Whereas KRS 83A.130 to KRS 83A.150 and KRS 92.280 and KRS 92.330 require that the legislative body of each city levy an ad valorem tax for city purposes, and that this be done by ordinance to provide for sufficient revenue to operate city government. And whereas KRS Chapter 132 requires that this be calculated in accordance with the provisions of that chapter, and whereas KRS 134.800 and KRS 134.810 require that ad valorem taxes on motor vehicles and watercrafts be collected by the city clerk, and that such taxes shall become due and delinquent as set forth in KRS 134.810, and that such taxes not paid when due shall be subject to penalty and interest as specified therein. Now therefore be it ordained by the city of Shepherdsville, Bullitt County, Kentucky, Section 1, an ad valorem tax rate of 12.5 cents on each $100 of assessed valuation upon all motor vehicles and watercraft taxable for municipal purposes in the city of Shepherdsville, Kentucky shall be and is hereby levied for the 2024 calendar year. as of January 1st, 2024. Section 2, said levy is made for the purpose of raising revenue to pay salaries and officers and employees for repair and maintenance of streets, public ways, and public buildings in the city of Shepherdsville, Kentucky, to pay for lighting of city streets, and to pay all proper charges and legal demands against the city of Shepherdsville, Kentucky. Section 3, these taxes shall be collected by the Bullitt County Clerk as provided by KRS 132.487 at sequence, and the city clerk is hereby directed to forward to the Department of Revenue, Office of Property Valuation, 501 High Street, Station 32, 4th floor, Frankfort, Kentucky, 40601, a 2024 motor vehicle tax rate classification for the 2024 calendar year. Any tax bill remaining unpaid for 60 days after the due date, as established by the Commonwealth of Kentucky, will be declared delinquent and bear interest at 6% per annum, or 0.5% per month, or a fraction thereof until paid. And in addition thereto, a penalty of 10% of the amount for general purposes shall be added for non-payment when due. Section 4, the provisions of this ordinance are hereby declared severable, and if any section, clause, line, paragraph, or part of this ordinance shall for any reason be declared invalid or unconstitutional, the same shall not affect the validity of the remainder of this ordinance. Section 5, all prior ordinances or parts of any prior ordinance in conflict herewith are hereby repealed. Section 6, this ordinance is adopted in accordance with KRS 83A.060 in that it was introduced and given first reading on September 11th, 2023, and given second reading on September 13th, 2023, and shall be in full force and effect upon publication pursuant to KRS Chapter 424.
Thank you, Ms. Catherine. On this one, I am right to say that it's been reduced from 12.8 to 12.5. Is that correct? Okay. I want to make sure that you know your vehicle taxes actually dropped 0.3. We left the same on the property tax, and in the commercial, as they call it, personal property, commercial, it was actually raised 0.3. So, all right, with that said, obviously, guys, you've got the information from this weekend. Please look over what you got. We'll try to answer your questions. I know I have Tanya available to you, and from a legal standpoint, you could use Catherine if you need to, but really Tanya's the one that's going to help you with that as well. So I appreciate that. So we've got our first reading done, and again, we'll meet Wednesday at 5 o'clock. We'll have our special meeting, and it'll be, Bonnie, you'll be able to do the clock thing and make it really fast. All right. She hasn't done that at all today, so it's going pretty good. All right, man, we're just like on fire today. All right, with all that said, we don't have any executive session to go to. Planning and zoning, Dwayne, you were showing me some good stuff here. You want to? Yes, sir.
And then Clarence is down there on West Blue Lake on Nancy and Cook. And they've got 8 different properties. The one on Nancy that runs north.
Here, you guys want?
You want him to come to the microphone?
Do you want to come to the microphone in a minute? Maybe I'll hear you better right there. And then if you want to pass it down, this is what Dwayne gave to me. Bonnie, if you want to take a look at it and pass it back this way, just so you guys can see it. We got to make you a superstar here, Dwayne. Just push that little button. Just that little button on top. You've been here long enough. You've seen that button.
I've never been back here before.
Yeah, see, it's a special day. Just push that button on the top. Look at that. All right,
got it?
you're good as gold.
I didn't do it?
You did it.
I got it. Anyway, we had a special meeting last Tuesday for a applicant. I don't even know what the name is. It's like a radio station. It's WJHKY LLC. But anyhow, it's down here in West Blue Lick, and on Cup Circle, Lot 58, it sits on a corner, and then Nancy runs north. And the problem with the whole thing here is as it runs north, there's a utility easement that's in behind the lots, and it's running northwest, so it's cutting it down. And what we try to do, we try to keep the houses in line. You know, when you come out your front door, you're not looking into the house, you can just see down the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And with the easements and a utility easement that's in the back, they're having trouble making that work. So anyway, we couldn't come to an agreement with them in the meeting, so they're gonna go back to their engineer and try to redo it, because we don't like to turn anybody down. If they can get the squash their numbers back together and get the houses in line, there shouldn't be a problem, but we don't see how they're gonna be able to do that with that utility easement working against them. And I remember one of them's talking about to get the house in line and get the decks in the back of the house, the last two are gonna be sticking out. So they're gonna have to redo something on
I
that.
see some construction behind South and all that back there. So that's, I mean, there's some, it looks like some
Yeah, and
apartments.
then also, the state turned them down, made them stop there. They was gonna try to put an entry in off of Blue Lake. And the state stopped that, because the hill and the curve is just too dangerous. And then it'd be better, like Darrell was talking, he's on the board, to just make a one-way around inside of it, that way they're not forcing And like I said, we try to work with everybody that comes in front of our board. So they're gonna get back with their engineers and see if they can crunch something different to make it work. And we have a regular meeting this Thursday, and then we'll have another special meeting at the end of the month. And they're gonna get back with the office manager down there to get rescheduled if they can get their numbers, or get their engineer to come up with something.
Yeah, I think just coming back out would be the way to go. No cutting back out on Blue Lick. I mean, it has its opportunities to start with, but I appreciate the update on that, sir.
Okay.
And remember, please keep up on the other developments.
I'll shoot you a text on that, on the
Okay,
hotel
okay.
tomorrow.
Yeah, we were just asking about the hotel that's gonna be built on Conestoga.
Yeah,
So,
I'll
thank you,
let
Dwayne.
the ladies
I appreciate that, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank y'all.
All right. Planning and zoning, I asked Jeremy not to come here today because he's got their meeting on Thursday, so his next meeting, oh, that's okay, we'll get it. All right, but, we're gonna make sure that, after they have their planning and zoning meeting, obviously Jeremy's our, representative, he'll come in and kind of, kind of update you what's going on. There's some things that's on the agenda for Thursday, so if you can make it, I know Mike's made it, I've seen some others, Brad's made it. If you guys can make it, I cannot make it, but please, any of, planning and zoning you can make, it's helpful, you get some good information, you can talk to folks as well. So, with that said, department heads. Steve Schmidt, how are you, sir? Come on up. You're the next.
Well, unless y'all have any questions.
No, you're not, well, I mean, don't you wanna come and just talk to us for a minute and just,
No, this is going so quickly and smoothly.
did you talk to him, Bonnie? That's okay, if you don't have anything, it's great. Listen, he does, Mark and him are working well, they're doing some good stuff. We're still working on neighborhoods and doing some things, so I appreciate all that you help you guys, and got to see you guys at the farmer's market Saturday, so it was
Well,
nice.
we'll just, you all should be seeing, I know that they've, stepped up their traffic patrols and some of the school zones out here, Conestoga, Dogwood, out by the high school, so you're probably seeing more of them out. Should be seeing some more blue lights trying to slow some people down. We're looking at how we could do directed patrols more for the neighborhoods again to be seen. We are hoping to get some cars. We've been waiting on these cars for about a year.
Yeah.
We've been told the VIN numbers are full and they should be coming, and now we're worried about the strike. So, you know, if they do the one strike out, that's gonna affect that. So, we got our fingers crossed that we should be able to start, get some more up to date, which will help. And we've also looked at, we bought a couple from Mount Washington and Trash Start. So,
Yeah, we're looking to build an inventory again, it's very
I
expensive.
guess I actually did have something to say, but you got me looking at me, so I'm stopping.
So, you got the look from Bonnie, all right.
Yes,
She does that every once in a while.
at least I didn't get this yet.
You didn't get that, you didn't get that. All right. Hey, Chief Lane, would you like to share a few thoughts with us?
Just, a little update for you and the council. We're making progress on our, website. So, we got a lot of information into Whitney and it's going pretty good.
Yeah, we wanted to have the website up and running by the mid-September, but just a little bit longer, probably October the 1st, we're gonna launch the, new website for the city. What we're gonna do is, once we do launch it, we were trying to make sure that you guys have just one-stop shop. You can go there and actually search things that'll help you navigate who you need to contact. Whether it's somebody here at City Hall or something we can have with other agencies, we're trying to help work with other agencies that are out there that we can give you information that you need just by coming to our website. And, we're, way behind the times on that as far as the actual website itself. But obviously, what it obviously is for services, we wanna make sure we have everything that you can go to, click a button. So, thank you, Lane, I know everybody's working on that. Tom, how are you doing, sir?
I do.
Come on up. Can you get us some more rain, Tom? Is there something you could put in for that rain, so we can see the
You're
areas?
always thinking
I know
yes.
Paula's gonna ask you about that. All right,
I just want to thank some people tonight,
all right.
specifically Miss Paula, Miss Lynn, bringing us some lunch for my guys. My guys don't receive that kind of stuff, so that was a real treat. So it was truly wonderful. Thank
actually
you.
got
I
to try-
apologize I wasn't able to make the last meeting, but I just wanted to thank you guys. And also, I want to make sure that everyone is aware that we work closely with the county now. And Robert Watkins has been a savior for me and my guys. He's really helped us a lot. We help them every chance we get, but I owe him a lot of favors right now. They're doing a lot for us that you may not be aware of. A lot of these streets out here that they're working on, they're part city, part county, and they're just, kind of taking the bull by the horns and doing some stuff for us, so
Yeah, I know you mentioned, we buy materials and they'll actually furnish the labor to help us. So that interlocal agreement that we have is a great deal. And they are doing well. And they're gonna be real special to us when they start on the Stout property.
That's right.
But I do think that you guys have coordinated that. And we're gonna try to coordinate with both the state and the county on when we have projects. If we have
Yeah.
roads that you guys, maybe somebody calls you about, we're gonna try to tie it in when maybe their group's gonna be out there. We'll furnish them the materials so they can get those roads done a little
That's
quicker.
right.
Because they're always, when you guys tell us things or somebody from the public tells us that something's wrong, we're gonna put it on a list, okay? So it's kind of a triage. We're gonna try to get to it as soon as possible. But these kind of relationships actually expedite that more, so.
Well, I can tell you, I've been with the city for 12 years, and over probably the last year and a half, our relationship has really grown
Oh, good.
with the county and the state, so it's been a wonderful
Mr.
relationship.
Peabody's actually been really good to us at times.
He's
I
a
gotta
very
tell you.
nice fellow.
All right, well,
So-
we won't tell him we said nice things about him though. Oh, maybe he's watching this.
Well,
If he watches it, then he'll know we said something nice about him.
And I would also like to make sure that everybody is aware that we also have a bit of a partnership with the Bullitt County Detention Center, and we have been working those inmates. And I can't tell you how valuable that is to me as well as the city, because we will get 2 to 4 of those guys daily. And with, you know, we're looking at a group of 7, 8 people. When we get 4 more people, you know, we've doubled, you know, half of our group. So it's just, I really thank those guys for everything they've
Yeah,
done.
they've done a good job.
They have done a
And
phenomenal
hopefully-
job.
And hopefully, the good story out of this, that some of these individuals will come out and be productive members. of
That's
the
right.
county, I should say. 'Cause if they're out
Absolutely.
working hard like this, and we can see there's an opportunity for them.
Yeah,
Love to see some of that.
they're great people. They've just fell on a bad time and, you know, did things some of us done and maybe we didn't get caught at. You know, they did and they're paying the price and, you know,
We've gotten some good support from those guys. Really appreciate
Yes.
what those guys have done for us.
it's been a great relationship.
Thanks, Tom.
So,
Appreciate it.
that was all I have.
We like
Thank
that
y'all.
stuff. Thanks, Tom. All right, so, Ms. Brenda, do you have anything?
I do not.
All right. So I know the sewer department's not here, Scott and Arthur, but we've got some important meetings on Wednesday. We've got contracts that are gonna be signed on properties. So the other Stout property that we have out there and Mulvaney property. And then probably in the next few weeks, we're gonna have the property that's gonna be part of the town square, which is gonna be on the Buckman area. So we'll let you guys know as soon as we get to that. But we thank you all for being here for that. Now, last but not least, is council. All right, Ms. Paula, what words of wisdom do you have for us?
Thanks, everybody, for coming. I appreciate it. I love Shepherdsville and excited to see all the new changes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you just get that rain, she can get the grass around where the flower bed is, and then we can get some grass around 44 and 65. Is there anything you can do about that? Okay, I'm gonna count on that. Expect rain. Hey, it's supposed to rain tomorrow morning, by the way, I think.
Yes.
All right, so maybe that's you. All right, thank you, Ms. Paula. We appreciate it. Mr. Mike?
Couple of things.
Yes, sir.
One of them just come up when Pastor Tom was, presenting here earlier. He made a mention that, all of us, that we have our freedom to speak, freedom of speech. And I know most of you, I browse, public media once in a while. You won't see too many comments. That's where I kind of figure my freedom of speech is somewhat limited at this time. But there's an awful lot out there that groups or people with agendas, groups with agendas, jump right up and make a comment and almost dare you to disagree. Because if you disagree and you do that publicly and you state your opinion or your facts, you now become the target. And I think that's a terrible thing. And I know a lot of elected officials all over the country have trouble just coming out and saying, I do this, I do that, because it'll be thrown against you in a form that you didn't mean for it to be. So those that do speak up and do so factually and do so without malice toward anyone, I congratulate you. Second thing is on our tax ordinances this evening. Shepherdsville has been blessed with a problem. We have a lot of revenue. And Tanya earlier, last Friday, Thursday and Friday. While we don't, or haven't lowered the tax rate this year, if your assessments haven't gone up, you're not gonna see any increase in your Shepherdsville tax anyway. I don't know what the library and the school board's gonna do. I don't think the school board raised theirs. But just on the information I have now, we may have to lower that next year. And again, if your assessment hasn't gone up between this year and next year, you should be paying a lower amount on your property. And a lot of that blessing is going to be because of the people that all of us scream should be paying their fair share. And I think they are. We can't lower the tax rate for you and I and not them at the same time. So I think we'll have a good possibility next year of acquiring even more revenue with contributions of less from many of the actual citizens that live in the homes and such here in Shepherdsville. So if I was wrong on any of that, Tanya, speak up, let me know.
You're correct.
If any of it needs refined, you know.
Just so everybody knows, the tax base for the city of Shepherdsville went up considerably this year, and that new properties are not calculated into our maximum that we can, collect on rates, but it will be added in for next year. So that's the reason I expect,
Right.
that we may have to lower rates next year.
Which would be a good thing.
So,
But it's a good problem to have.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
yeah, I think it is a good problem to have, because those funds are going to allow us to support projects, road improvements, road repairs, drainage repairs, things that anything can be spent on. There's some forms of revenue that only can be spent on certain things, but this is something that could be just thrown into the pot and put pretty much wherever we want it. So I like to have that problem, and again, it's there, and I figure it's our responsibility to make sure it's spent wisely. And I know we'll do everything we can to see that that's done. So, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mike. Ms. Faith?
Well, I don't have very much. I just want to say, fire department, you made me proud today by the post you put on Facebook, the 343 people that were killed. I found out today that Bullitt County Schools does not teach about 9/11. It's not in their curriculum anymore. And that saddens me. The children should know. They should know what happened, and they should be prepared to, because you never know. This could happen every day. It could happen next year. You know, our kids need to know this, and my family will, and I'll keep them updated every year about it. And I will probably say something to the Board of Education about it too. But I personally want to thank all the employees for you guys work way above and beyond, every one of you. And I want to say thank you. That's all I have.
Well, thank you, Ms. Faith. I appreciate it. You were on vacation. She didn't work hard last week.
She works hard all the time. She probably worked from home.
I did in the garage.
First, I just want to say that my heart and my prayers go out to the family of Jason Benningfield, who died Friday in the car accident on 44. He drove for Hebron Middle School, that was my kid's school, so. Sorry. And also, don't forget, when we're all talking 9/11, let's not forget Benghazi. It happened, on 9/11 as well. So let's not forget the 4 lives that were lost in Benghazi. So, okay, that's all.
Mr. Brett? All right, well, welcome back and, vacation and all that good stuff. Okay. Ms. Bonnie?
I also want to remember 9/11. It changed our country. Talking to the pastor earlier, brought a lot of people God. Some didn't stay there, but we need to realize that without God, we're nothing. And that we need to pray for him for help, because we sure are going down the wrong path right now. America's sinking quickly. That's all I have.
Well, I want, anybody else? Oh, we good? All right, I just want to let everybody, thank you all, first of all, and please remember 9/11. We have so many things to be grateful for, but we have a great community that's coming together. Let's focus on that as well. We can help each other out. We can have our family members, our friends, and our neighbors. So Thank you all for being here tonight. And with that said, I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
I got a tie, but I'll take, and a second. I'll take Jennifer and a second with Mike. All right, can I get a roll call on that, please?
Faith,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Paula. Yes. Jennifer.
Yes.
Thank you all. Have a great evening. Bonnie, I'll reach out to you Tuesday. I'll get that rolling. Just Paula, I need to do a rain dance outside.
A rain dance?
Rain
Yeah,
dance.
yeah.
We need to get that